Hello there. Who told you that you can do this and not that? Who told you that you're deserving of this and not that? Who told you that what you yearn for and are drawn towards is not for someone like you? I'm Moagi, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel where I encourage, educate, and entertain. Today, I'll be doing so by sharing a bit about my career journey. It'll be a bit of a story time, and trust me when I say it's something that you want to hear. I studied engineering metallurgy, and for one to graduate from that, you need to do in-service training. So it was my final year. I was doing my final year exams, and I had no job for the following year. I'd sent loads of emails to employers, and I wasn't getting any positive response. But I was like, okay, remain hopeful, something might happen. So I went on my holidays, my December holidays. I tried to enjoy them as much as I could with the knowledge that next year I'm not sure if I have a job. And I enjoyed my holidays as much as I could. January came, people were going back to work, people were going to school. I was being left in the house and without a job. In my being there, I tried again to apply for more jobs, to ask the ones that I had applied to say, hey, it's me again, gentle reminder here. Did you see this email? Are you going to call me? Or is happening? It wasn't giving. It just wasn't giving what I believe it was meant to be giving. And at that stage, I decided I'm not going to just sit back and wait for them to come back to me. They're not coming back to me. I need to get up and do something. And getting up and doing something is what I did. I printed a whole lot of CVs, put them in a bag. I found out where most of these companies were based, and it happened to be that they are based in Wadeville. And so I picked a day. I got up very early in the morning as if I was going to work, got dressed as if I was going for an interview, found out where taxis to Wadeville were, and then I got onto a taxi with my interview outfit, which was a cute blouse, formal skirt, and a nice pair of heels. And in my bag, I had transport money, lunch money, and a whole lot of CVs. And on my way to Wadeville, I was. On my way there, I engaged with the people in the taxi, and I found out, basically, I told them my story, and I was like, companies like this, where can I find them? And they directed me, I think it was Dikema. And I got off there. It was a robot on the right side, like further to the right, like right at the end. It was Score Metals. And on this side, there were other companies. I'm not familiar with them. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this way, work my way up, and then end up at Score Metals. That'll be the last company I go to. So I started the mission like right at the end on the left side. I went door to door or gate to gate, speaking to the security guards, saying, okay, this is my story. I'm a student. I just completed my theory in engineering metallurgy. I need a job. Can you please take my CV? Can you please call someone who can help me? And in some cases, the security guards took my CVs and were like, we'll pass it on. In some cases, they were extra nice by calling someone and saying, there's a girl and this is a story. What should we do? Okay, most of the people, I think none of the people actually came down to see me, but they received the CVs, and some of them didn't even take my CV. They were like, we know that there are no jobs here, so thank you very much, thank you, bye. And it wasn't nice. Obviously, rejection is never nice, but it is what it was. Different responses, and the positive ones really gave me hope that one of these jobs, someone is definitely going to call me, and I'm not going to be in the situation that I'm in. And the other ones that were like flat out refusing, it kind of made me feel sad, but it was like, Shana, babe, let's go, let's continue the journey. And continue the journey we did. Then I was done with before I was done with this side of that street, I think it's Dickham. I don't know what's the street. But anyway, before I was done with that long street, I got to a company that was in like a business park, I'd say. And the lady was like, we're not hiring, but I think listening to your story, I think you should definitely go to our road. I think you might find something there. Then I kept that. I was like, thank you very much. And then I continued the journey. I walked back to where I got off, where the taxi dropped me off in the morning. And then now it was a journey to Score Metals. This time, hili ereng mongwaneng, letsatsi le reng mongwaneng, tlala ereng mongwaneng. I was just so hot. I was tired. I was sunburned. The heels were not a great choice. I found out at that stage I didn't have any flat shoes. And I was like, yeah, the things we do for jobs. Anyway, I found out if there was a taxi to Score Metals, and it happened that there was one, but I was like, if I take a taxi from here to there, it means all the other companies between here and there are missing out on an opportunity. So I was like, we're not going to take a taxi. Yes, we're tired. Yes, our feet are painful. Yes, we have sunburn, but we're doing this. We're going to do this. We're on a mission, and we are going to do it. And doing it, we did. I continued on this side of the street, leaving my CV, still getting, okay, we'll take your CV. Okay, let's call someone. Sorry, we're not taking any CV. You can keep it to yourself. Thank you very much. Until I finally got to Score Metals. And when I got there, they weren't rude or anything, but the security guards were like, Score Metals has a program and they already know the students that they have for this year. And if you're not one of them, if you know that they haven't contacted you, it means you're not, like it's too late now. Sorry, ma'am. But we're going to take your CV anyway. And they did. Then when I was done with that, that was the end of the day in Wadeville. So that was day one of looking for a job, an in-service training job. The next morning, I got up, did the same thing. Only the difference is that I didn't take the heels. I had learned my lesson, once bitten, twice shy, right? So I wore some cute flat pumps. Cute, I'm not sure. I wore pumps. I wore flat shoes. Yeah, I don't know if they were cute. I don't want to lie now. Anywho, I went to our road. And again, I spoke to the people in the taxi and they explained that there are streets with these type of companies. This is where it starts and this is where it ends. It ended like around, I think there's a Total Garage, and opposite that is Westbeck Aluminium. Again, I was like, I'll end up there. Let's start off at the end. And I started off there and I went through all those streets. If I remember well, their streets were named after chemical elements like beryllium, boron, those type of streets. And it was interesting for me. Anyway, I did that again the whole day, giving my CVs. Again, I was received by, okay, we'll take your CV. We don't know, but we'll take your CV. Okay, we'll call someone. And then they did. I remember 2 instances where they called someone and they actually came out and they had a conversation with me about what I was there for. And it actually gave me a lot of hope about really this mission might be a successful mission. And still, there were the negative ones that were like, no thanks, sorry, not hiring. But in any case, I continued the journey until I got to the last company. So when I got to the last company, which was Westbeck Aluminium, I again, the same speech. Man, I had a speech, I had it all rehearsed, and it wasn't too bad. But I shared my speech with the security at Westbeck Aluminium, and he was kind enough, again, like some of the other securities, to call someone who was in charge of hiring students. And the lady came. No, she didn't come. I think I was taken to her office and I explained my story. And she was like, we are hiring students. We're actually in the process of hiring students. Unfortunately, we don't hire metallurgy students. Like, we've never hired a student that has studied engineering metallurgy. And then I was like, what does your company do? And she explained that we melt scrap aluminium, then we extrude it, we anodize, the whole process. And I was like, it doesn't make sense that you don't have a metallurgy student. Like, you'll need a metallurgical engineering student. And this is why, with this skill, this is what I can offer. With this skill, this is what I can offer. Like, having a metallurgist is going to help you guys. And I was just there marketing myself and selling myself, really. And she was kind enough to listen to my marketing pitch and to hear my story. And a few weeks, if not one, I think 1 to 2 weeks later, I got a call to come for an interview. And I was interviewed and I got the job. And I was so grateful. And I'm just going to take this moment to say shout out to Ntate Sabata, the security guard who received me. Shout out to Lindelani Mbi, who listened to my story. Shout out to Bradley and Tembi, who interviewed me and who hired me, really. Shout out to first of all, to the lady from Wadeville who told me about our road. I shout out to my mom who taught me perseverance, who taught me hard work, who taught me that you don't just sit back and wait for something to happen. You go and you put in the effort and you make it happen. You pray and you act. Shout out to my mom who taught me by acting, by her example and her teachings. And above all, shout out to God Almighty who put that idea in my heart, who gave me the mother that he gave me, who help me, the people on the taxi, the people, the lady, everything that happened, he met my faith and he made it all happen, and he ensured that I got that in-service training and I finally graduated. This whole story to tell you that yes, you want certain things, and yes, you're praying for certain things, and now there's manifesting certain things, but it takes more than just praying. It takes more than just believing. It takes more than just applying. Sometimes we just need to go a step further. Sometimes we need to put in that extra effort, and it is in there that God connects the dot, that God brings this person and inspires this person to say this and tells this person to motivate you in this way. We can't just sit back and wait for God. There's God's part and there's our part. And though I understood that there's God's part and my part, I think there's another part that, and this is the point of this whole video, right? We are asked to say, who told you that you deserve this and not that? Who told you that you can do and be this and not that? Who told you that what you yearn for, what you are drawn to, is not for someone like you? It is very easy for me to put in all this effort towards an in-service training job, mainly because there's a structure, there's a model, there is a mold that has already been created to say, you go to high school, you go to university, and you go to a work, you find a job. And when I didn't find a job, I knew that the typical trend is I should be getting a job. So no, I need to put in some effort. It's like when you're not passing, you know that you just need to study. You need to do a bit extra. So I know that this is the next step that I need to take. I need to be in a job. And I'm not in a job, so let me just do a bit extra to get that job. The problem lies in when we want something that is not in the mold, that is not in the structure, that has not been modeled. When we want to be YouTubers, when we want to be presenters, when we want to be speakers, that is not something that we were taught we can be. That is not something that we were told we can aspire towards. That is not something that is clear to say even someone like you can do that, can be that, can achieve that. So though within ourselves, the drive to work hard, the drive to persevere, the drive and the willingness to be burnt in the sun, to be tired, to put in all this effort, it is there, but you don't know, or for some reason you're blocked to say you can only do it in this department, but not in your dreams, not in your passions, not in this other thing that you have not seen anyone else do or anyone you know do. And I am now at a place where I'm saying, all that I am, the hardworking person that I am, the persevering person that I am, the any and every good quality that I possess, I now need to take it and use it in what I yearn to become, in what I'm drawn to be, in what I believe God Almighty has called me to be. And this is a call to action to you. Know that you can be that thing. You can do that thing. You are deserving of that thing that you yearn for, that you're drawn towards, that God Almighty has called you to be. Even if you don't see an example, even if it doesn't make sense when you look at the model that you know, when you look at the examples that you have seen, it doesn't make sense how you're going to be that. It looks like you're just an anomaly, like you can't do that, you can't be that. You're like, it seems strange, it seems unfamiliar. But it doesn't have to be familiar. You can be the trailblazer. You can be the one who starts. And yeah, that is the purpose of this video. So basically, that is where I am now. I did all of that for 2 days looking for that work. And I wish that I could have spent 2 days working hard to becoming a presenter, a YouTuber, or anything else that will lead to my greatness that God Almighty has deposited inside of me. But I've now learned, and I'm now working towards that. I'm now walking towards that, and I am now more free to talk about it. I'm not shy to tell people that I have a YouTube channel. I'm not shy to advertise it. I'm not shy to be vocal to say, may you please subscribe. And because of that, I had a conversation with a colleague of mine, and they were planning a program for our interns, and they needed a speaker. And when I spoke to them, they were like, we don't know who the speaker is going to be. And when I said I'm a YouTuber, they're like, would you like to be the speaker of our event for our lovely interns? And I was like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? And that was an opportunity to have my first speaking engagement, as they are called. And I'd like you to hear a bit of what I shared with the interns. And I hope that you will be encouraged by the story that I shared, and you'll be encouraged by also what I shared with the interns. Have a listen.
So he'll say, okay, it's coming today, it's coming on Wednesday, be ready for it, right? So I'll expect the delivery, whatever it is. It happened that one day he didn't inform me that the delivery was coming. But whether he told me or not, it was coming, right? That doesn't affect whether Takealot brings or not. So I wasn't expecting it. And sure enough, it came, and the guy hooted, and he hooted, and he hooted. And I didn't pay attention to him because I wasn't expecting him. I wasn't suddenly deaf. I could still hear him, right? I heard the hooting. But because I wasn't expecting him, I didn't pay attention to him. Therefore, I didn't go and get the delivery until he called. Now, I want to ask you guys, what are you expecting in your life? What are you expecting of yourself, of your life? That's my first question to you. So, as I said, whether or not I was expecting it, it was there. Now, even in your life, whether you're expecting it or not, opportunities to study are going to be hooting. Opportunities to improve, to develop yourself are going to be hooting. Opportunities to meet people that are going to connect you to the next great thing that you need in your life are going to be hooting all the time. But if you are not expecting them, they will hoot. And they will hoot. You're not deaf. You'll hear them, but you're not going to be aware that this is hooting for me, right? Now, in our house, like what we order is not dependent on our neighbor this way, that way. It doesn't matter what our neighbor is doing. We order what is personal to us. So all of you met here at Point. All of you had the wonderful opportunity to be interns at Point. But you need to understand that your path and your path and your path and your path is not dependent on your neighbor. You have your own needs. You have your own path. You have your own dreams. And you need to be honest to that. You need to not dishonor who you are as an individual as you take the next step. And unfortunately or fortunately, personally, I dishonored myself by spending 4 whole years of my life studying engineering metallurgy. And on top of that, it's not an easy course. Can I just say it is not an easy course? All right. But anyway, we did it, thank God. And on top of that, I dishonored myself again by spending 6 whole years dealing with metals, with aluminium and steel and copper and hot furnaces and wearing overalls and even learning how to drive a forklift. Okay, so I drove a forklift for a while. And there's nothing wrong with these things in and of themselves. There's nothing wrong with furnaces or working in a mine or whatever. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. But what was wrong was that it wasn't for me. I wasn't honoring me and what I needed, right? So now I need you also to understand that you might have studied whatever you've studied. You might be applying for a certain job, but deep down, I need you to ask yourself that by doing this, by going this path, are you truly honoring yourself? You might be honoring your parents, you might be honoring this person or that person, but are you honoring yourself? Once I was there working the 6 years as a metallurgist, it's very easy to say, hey, I'm not happy and complain and tell everyone about it, but that doesn't change anything. What is important is to acknowledge I'm not happy and I need to do something about the situation. So what I did is I stopped applying for jobs related to metallurgy. I acknowledged yes, I studied, I spent that 4 years, mommy spent all that money, I have this experience, but I hate it. I really do not enjoy it. And I started applying for jobs outside of metallurgy. That's how I applied for this job here at Point, so a different industry altogether. What helped was that metallurgy allowed me to work as a quality manager in metals, and then I applied for a quality manager role in this industry, which helped me a great deal. No more overalls, no more forklifts, no more furnaces and all of that stuff. But though I am here and though I am grateful, I still know that this is not it for me. This is not where I want to be. This is not where I'm ending up. As some of you know, if you don't know, please check me out on YouTube. I am on YouTube. And there I just upload vlogs, interviews, and different sit-down videos where I aim to encourage, to entertain, and to educate. That is not where I wanted to be, but I'm very hopeful and confident that one day it definitely will be where I needed to be. But in the meantime, it is my responsibility to keep browsing for opportunities. It is my responsibility to keep paying the price necessary. It is my responsibility to keep my ear open for that hooting. And maybe one day the driver will say, hey ma'am, your order has arrived. We know that Take a Lot doesn't just haphazardly deliver anything to anyone, right? You first need to go onto Take a Lot's app. You need to browse and choose what it is that you want. You need to put it in the cart, and finally, you need to pay the price. It's not a free thing. Just because you want it doesn't mean you're just gonna get it. Just because they have the items doesn't mean they're just gonna deliver it at your door. And in like manner, the life that you desire, the life that you expect, that you pray for, it's not just gonna happen. You need to work, you need to search, you need to decide, you need to take the steps, and of course, you need to pay the price. So one more time, I wanna ask you, what are you expecting in your life? What are you expecting of yourself? With that said, I just want to wish you well in everything that you guys are going to be doing. Congratulations for reaching this far, and all the best for whatever you're expecting in your lives and from yourself. Thank you.
Again, who told you that you can't be that? Who told you that you can't do it? Who told you that you're not deserving? Know that you can do it. Know that you can be it. Know that you are deserving of it. Expect it and work towards it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and to listen to me. I hope that it wasn't just a thing of just watching, but I hope that you were encouraged. I hope that you were educated. I hope that you were entertained. And I hope that you are now going to take the steps necessary, put the effort necessary towards becoming all that God Almighty has created you to be. Thank you once again for watching. Do subscribe. Click the notification bell next to the subscribe button so that you are notified the next time I post a video. Until next time, bye for now.